What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. BC had an unprecedented election over the weekend, and one that, while I would have loved to have covered it, unfortunately I was unable to. In fact, I was invited to join the pleb during his live broadcast of the election. I have to say that as I stood back and watched what was going on later in the evening when I was kicking around, I was absolutely shocked and not shocked at the same time. In certain areas when it came to the shenanigans that are supposedly going on, or that I believe is going on at this point. We're going to discuss that when it comes to the results that we still don't have from this election. Now, as of the filming of this video, we're being told that it's going to be somewhere around the 26th before we're going to see any definitive results, that lawsuits could come into place because it is just that close. Recounts, ballots, but when we get to ballots, that's the most important thing here. And what I want to lead into this with is when you look at Alberta, when you look at Daniele Smith recently putting forward that only paper ballots would be used in Alberta from here on out, this raises why in the next federal election we could face large problems federally if they start bringing in these voting machines. They're used to rig elections as far as I'm concerned. At least they've shown me no other reason to believe otherwise. That's my personal opinion. But we're seeing it in British Columbia, allegedly. Let's take a look here. Good friend of the channel, Andy Lee, posting out Elections BC says the final polls won't be releasing, citing safety issues with electronic tabulators, saying they will be performing recounts. Well, of course they are, because they have to verify and validate everything. If you had paper ballots, you wouldn't have this much of an issue. Shareware says correction looks like at least 10 different candidates have 2 ballot boxes not counted. This is really suspicious. Another person saying it's 3 a.m. somewhere in terms of meaning it's being rigged. Did Election BC put out a statement? I'm trying to find it. Andy says it was just on the news. Apparently, because of the very close counts, they are doing recounts, which they should. But here's where it says Surrey Centre, 43 ballots of the NDP lead. In Juan de Fuca, 26 ballot lead. It's very close. Malfunctions, what are we talking about here? I think they want to do recounts before they put out final results from electronic tabulators. Again, these are major concerns. Now, if you've ever felt that your vote doesn't matter, take a look at some of these ridings. Surrey City Centre. This was called during election night. 5,967 votes to 5,966. If you're ever going to sit and tell me my vote doesn't matter, it doesn't do anything in the elections, it has no weight, what do you have to say about this? This is why we need to get out and vote. And statistically, from what I understand, only about 50% or 55% of eligible voters in British Columbia went out to vote in this election. Again, these are people that are running your province, and provincially, municipally has bigger impact on your life than federal politics. These are the elections you should be involved in. I mean, as we see here, a tweet going out saying, wow, BC election now says some types of ballots were not counted. These includes vote by mail ballots that were received by mail after the close of advanced voting. Could be a week before we see final results. First comment says, sounds like the steel is on. How far could Socialist NDP go to hold power? Knew it was doomed when I saw electronic tabulation. Every MP should demand a hand recount audit. I agree. Oh, wow, nothing to see here. Sounds like the U.S. elections. They did not count them until now, waited for a week, and they tell us another week to count the mail-in ballots. They should be counted first. Now they know the numbers, and they will be easy to manipulate. I mean, this is the problem. Whether or not you're going to believe in shenanigans taking place in British Columbia's election, or any election for that matter, our faith in the electoral system is diminished. Electronic machines aren't going to restore Canadians' faith that elections are free and fair. I do agree with Daniele Smith that paper ballots, the way we've always done it, hand counting, is the only effective way to verify and to authenticate an election. I think that that's what we should stick to. Yes, it may be less convenient. It may take a little bit longer to count those votes or those ballots. But again, I feel it's worth the effort. And when you look at British Columbia, again, a very small percentage, much like in our federal elections, has decided who's in charge of running the province. You've got a mostly blue conservative province here. Of course, you can see here Kootenay Central with a 39% to NDP, 31% to the Conservatives, 51% in Kootenay, Monashee to Conservatives, 39%. But down here, Maple Ridge, Pitt Meadows, 54% to 45%. We've got 50 to 49 in Coquitlam. Again, 49.4 to 50.6. This is where, again, it's very important to get out and vote. I mean, not so much North Van and Seymour, 52% to 35%. You've got the Green Party coming ahead here, 26% going to the NDP, 35% going to the Conservatives, 38% going to the Green Party. I've heard rumor going around that there's going to be a deal offered for some kind of coalition between the Greens and the Conservative Party. I'm not so sure about that. But even Powell River, you've got 49% to the NDP versus 35% to the Conservatives. 48 to 39 in Mid-Island Pacific Rim. You've got 48 to 39 Mid-Island. Juan de Fuca's got 38 to 38.4, 38.5 to 38.4. Again, that's a really critical riding, and again, where votes matter. 0.1%. And right now, the NDP are only in the lead by 1 seat at the time of filming this video. And you got 64.9 to 35.1%. It's going to be a weird election once the ballots get recalled. But again, even if legitimately the NDP sees their power in British Columbia, it tells me two things. It tells me that brainwashed socialist morons are still willing to vote in a government that controls them, that fills their streets with drug-addicted crime, that don't care about the cost of living, that don't care about their constituents. It also tells me that there's a possibility that these ballots have been tampered with. That, again, as one comment mentioned earlier, it's possible that the fix is in, that numbers can be altered now when they know what the margins are that they have to win by. Again, that's speculation, but my faith in elections has diminished based on what I've seen in the United States, based on what I'm seeing in Canada with the push for electronic machines, again, with no security on them to determine whether or not your vote is going to be valid, whether it's going to flip to another candidate, whether there's going to be an error in the system. I just don't trust it. I think, I was always told nothing's serious. Nothing is official until you get it in writing. I believe that's the way we should stick with things. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that BC is going to see some shenanigans? Do you think that it's going to be a free and fair election? What do you think about what happened? Let me know your thoughts down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription as we're ramping up to 50,000 subscribers very quickly. I'd love to hit that number as fast as possible. So if you enjoyed this comment, give a thumbs up and a comment on the way out. Help this video get boosted. Leave a subscription down below. Do all the usual YouTube jazz. Click your bell for notifications and join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, my live streaming show where we go back and forth about everything that's happened this week in Canadian politics, a little bit back and forth with the community to hear what you guys have to say. And we always wrap up with some Q&A with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, where you guys can essentially ask us anything you like. And as long as it's not too out of the boundaries of suitable, we will answer those questions. But it all happens every Friday here at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.